Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Kyle Clark. Many Coloradans are struggling to keep up with the cost of powering their homes.
A new report shows there were more than 130,000 shutoffs in 2024 because of unpaid bills. 9 News reporter Spencer Scheucher digs into that.
We do a lot of reporting about when Xcel shuts off power for safety reasons. But a new federal report on utility disconnections shows Colorado homes lost power more than 130,000 times in 2024 because bills went unpaid. The report found 134,000 electric shutoffs and 5,000 gas shutoffs here.
We know about 1 in 4 Coloradan households struggles to pay their energy costs.
Amy Brown works with Energy Outreach Colorado. They offer help to people with past due bills.
We are up about 10 or 11% in requests for assistance.
Those bills for Xcel Energy customers in Colorado have gotten more expensive. Using Xcel's average benchmark, a typical electric bill rose from about $69 in 2019 to roughly $96 today. That's nearly 40% higher. And natural gas is up too. For a typical winter heating month, a comparable gas bill rose from $93 in 2019 to about $121 today, about a 30% increase. The company says the higher rates are because of investments in reliability, wildfire mitigation, and infrastructure upgrades. But the growing need for help is not universal.
We are down about 9% overall from last season. And I do think the winter or lack of winter is contributing to that downward trend.
The Colorado Low-Income Energy Assistance Program helps with heating bills in the winter. But our mild winter this year means fewer people have been asking for help. Before this year, were more people asking for help?
Yes, we did see an upward trend. We were seeing a 10% increase.
Colorado is not among the states with the most power shutoffs. Both LEAP and the Colorado Energy Assistance Program there say that they believe part of that is because of the assistance programs that are available. The list is measuring the shutoffs of the power and the heat, and when those programs are available here in the state, they say they're able to alleviate some of those shutoffs that would end up on the list. Live in Denver, Spencer Scheucher, 9 News.
And of course, Coloradans aren't just struggling to keep up with home energy costs. Prices at the gas pump hit a 4-year high today. According to AAA, the national average for a regular gallon is now $4.18. We haven't seen prices like this since April of 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine. AAA says the price of crude oil has been rising as peace talks in the Iran war seem to have stalled and disruptions to shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz continue.
Here comes the rain. Denver saw some. Other places south and east of town recorded amounts up to 1 inch overnight. And the nice thing is, Kathy Saban says we've got a week of this. I mean, imagine that. Multiple days of rain in a single week. How lucky are we?
We're so lucky. I'm so tired of talking about fire weather and drought and record high temperatures since we really had no winter. And I just poked my head outside and it's raining outside the studios right here. So love to go to sleep to the sound of rain on the roof. Unfortunately, that may mean some more of that patchy fog for the drive early in the morning. But we're tracking the rain in the city and more snow in the mountains as part of this unsettled weather pattern, which means another round of showers tomorrow afternoon. So beneficial rain coming into the state, but Thursday's really the day we're focused on and excited on as a new storm is taking shape and heading into Colorado for the end of the week. We're 50 degrees in downtown Denver this 10 o'clock hour, 46 out at DIA. Snow showers in the mountains, over 10 inches of snow in a town called Skyline north of Steamboat, right along the Wyoming-Colorado border. And look at this, there's a little bit of rain coming into the city out there. Love to see that and more coming. In the next 24 hours, another 1/10 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. But by Friday afternoon, look at some of the numbers we could see. Up to 1 inch of water in the gauge at many homes across the city. Not much to worry about tonight. A partly sunny day tomorrow, but get set with another round of showers. Take the rain gear if you're headed out in the afternoon. Temperatures will drop into the 30s overnight. It'll be chilly at the bus stop, but it's about to get real cold on Thursday. More on that coming up.
New tonight, Aurora police are investigating a deadly shooting involving a family. They say a man killed his brother. The shooting was reported just after 6:30 tonight on South Fairplay Street. That's between Sable and Chambers. The investigation is still very early, but from what we've been able to gather so far, police say the brothers got into an argument. One grabbed a knife, the other a gun, and the man with the gun shot and killed his brother. Officers are holding the suspected shooter for questioning right now. Also new tonight, the Sheridan School Board unanimously voted to ratify a new contract with their teachers union following a 3-week strike. That's according to the union. Teachers returned to the classroom yesterday in what the union described as a sign of good faith ahead of tonight's vote. Both sides reached the tentative agreement late Thursday after a marathon bargaining session at the state capitol. The union ratified the agreement on Friday. So tonight was the last step. We reached out to the school district to get their side of things. We're waiting to hear back.
A parent at Evergreen High School spent months pushing for the release of investigative documents on last September's shooting. Now that they're out, he says they provided meaningful insight, but did leave some questions unanswered. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office released more than 600 pages of documents last week. They offer more information about the shooter's history with Nazi symbolism and how one teacher said he was lonely and didn't interact with classmates. But they don't give much insight into how the shooter got the gun or why the FBI didn't act on a tip from the Anti-Defamation League months before the shooting.
I didn't expect these documents were going to address what the Anti-Defamation League had forwarded over to the FBI. So I think there's some questions within the community surrounding that.
Despite all the unknowns, Michael Farrell, that parent, says the documents did offer some unexpected comfort, reading about how many people stepped up to help during the crisis.
A Trump administration policy of jailing immigrants without bond could be headed to the U.S. Supreme Court. Today, a federal appeals court ruled the policy raised serious constitutional questions. The Department of Homeland Security put the policy in place last July. It says anyone who crosses into the United States without authorization should be ineligible for bond. That includes people who have been in the U.S. for years without any criminal history. Bond hearings give detainees an opportunity to try and convince immigration judges that they are not a flight or public safety risk. Today's ruling puts it at odds with ones by 2 other appeals courts. Homeland Security officials are indicating an appeal could be coming.
A man who served decades in prison for the death of a baby in 1998 is now free, and that baby's mother says she feels like the criminal justice system let her daughter down. In October of 1998, 4-month-old Heather Maris was rushed to the hospital where she later died. Stephen Martinez had been watching her while her mom ran an errand. He called 911 and reported that she was choking. Investigators later blamed the baby's death on shaken baby syndrome. A jury convicted Martinez of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life without parole. Attorneys from the Corey Wise Innocent Project reinvestigated the case, and experts concluded the girl actually died of lung disease, and the head injury could have been weeks old. Last week, Martinez's case was dismissed and he was freed. It was a dark day for the baby's mother.
Right now, I hate the judicial system. Right now, they didn't work for her in her favor. It's almost like he served his 27 years and got a slap on the hand and got to walk out with no criminal background, everything sealed, like this never even happened. So he doesn't even have to look back and think about anything about this.
Judge dismissed the charges with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. We'll have more in our continuing coverage of this story on 9 News tomorrow.
There will be new rentable scooters and bikes in Denver beginning Friday. The City Council approved a 3-year contract with a company called VIO last night, replacing the ones provided by Bird and Lime. A key concern during the approval process would be what would happen to tens of thousands of riders currently enrolled in discounted programs through Bird and Lime. Those allow up to an hour of free riding every day for people on lower incomes. VIO will offer that same program. It says it will allow people to keep riding at first, and then they'll need some documentation.
Scan a vehicle and you'll be given the chance to immediately confirm that you are historically a low-income rider, and you'll be onboarded immediately into our free ride system, and you'll be given 10 days to then upload documents, that any document you used when you applied for Lime or Bird's program in the past, or simply proof of enrollment in their programs, to stay in the program indefinitely.
VIO plans to deploy several thousand scooters and bikes just after midnight on Friday, eventually scaling up to around 9,000 across the city. Some Bird and Lime scooters will remain during a 2-week overlap. A state law requires school districts to put together a policy on cell phone use in schools by July 1st.
Denver Public Schools is considering banning students from using them all through the day. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause has more.
Yeah, right now each school can create its own policy when it comes to cell phone use, but a new policy the board is considering would prohibit all DPS students from using personal communication devices during the entire school day, even passing periods and lunch. One school that's been doing this for years say it's really helped their students.
Ooh, I like that one. Teamwork.
Inside Marie L. Greenwood, classrooms have everything students need to succeed.
Good job, babe.
Everything but cell phones. When the bell rings and the school day ends, access comes back.
Yeah.
8th grader Valeria Sierra says it's simple.
So you just put your phone inside, and then you put them together and you press a button, and it locks so you can't open it.
For the past 2 years, Marie L. Greenwood students lock phones in pouches during school hours, preventing students from texting, swiping, posting.
I get distracted very easily, so at least my phone is something I don't have to worry about anymore.
Not having cell phones in the hands of students during the school day is a pro.
Principal Blake Hammond implemented first a don't use it policy, but says students still got distracted, finding ways to get on their phones. The pouches have kept them phone-free for 2 years.
It's so funny when kids come into the school building, they are on their phones, then they have to lock them away, and they're struggling to put them in that pouch. But once that pouch clicks, they start connecting with their friends, they start connecting with the staff members, and you just see this really brightness that comes across their face because then they can have one-to-one connection.
Way to go, Stephanie.
Now, Denver Public Schools is considering a bell-to-bell ban on students using personal devices district-wide. Everything from phones, smartwatches, to wireless earbuds and tablets.
You're done? Perfect.
Hammond says it's a big change with a big impact.
When cell phones were put away and we started implementing the pouches, we saw a major reduction in misbehavior and a huge increase in student achievement.
I've seen it myself, students use phones during class before we had these pouches.
Valeria says the phone ban has helped her stay focused. Hopeful it can make a difference for other DPS students too.
I think it's a good thing schools should have.
Starting Friday, DPS will open up a 2-week community survey and will hold public comment in May and June to get feedback. The board is expected to vote on the new policy in June. In Denver, Rachel Krause, 9 News.